ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Wednesday, March 26th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for being a part of today's show. Our text line, we open that up every day for you. Brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Coming up today on the program, it's going to be fun because we got a lot to get into with Ryan Crisp. Ryan joins us almost every week, and he is the Associate Athletics Director for Annual Giving, Ticket Sales, and Fan Engagement. And there's going to be several things we're going to get into with him, of course. I think the big one we got to talk about is, of course, opening up Joan C. Stadium for concerts. Zach Bryan coming to Joan C. Edwards Stadium. So Ryan will give us all the details. If you don't know how to get your tickets just yet, Ryan's going to tell us about that. Also, we got to talk about the Marshall football team hitting the streets today, along with Coach Gibson and select members of City Council. I saw some of them out there this morning as well. And the Public Works employees of Huntington all filling potholes, part of the Paving the Way to Victory program. So Ryan will get us caught up on what happened there as well. And of course, a lot of the events going on for the Thundering Herd. So he's our man in the know, and he'll tell us all about that coming up. Of course, we do want to hear from you, so don't be afraid. You can join anytime, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Big news today out of Morgantown. The Mountaineers have got their man, Ross Hodge, named the head coach at WVU, previously at North Texas. So he's going to be taking over as the head coach of the Mountaineers. And speaking of Morgantown, wasn't a good trip for the Thundering Herd last night. Marshall lost 7-0. Bullpen performed well. Had some problems early. Marshall just couldn't get its offense going, but the bullpen did perform well. That's the bright side there. WVU is a good team. Marshall will have another shot at them, of course. This is part of that series of games between the Mountaineers and the Thundering Herd. Of course, there'll be a return visit to Huntington. Hey, let's take our break now because I want to get into a lot of things with Ryan Crisp. Of course, Ryan, if you just joined us, he's always with us, getting us updated on everything that's happening with the Thundering Herd. He is the Associate Athletics Director for Annual Giving, Ticket Sales, and Fan Engagement. So let's jump into it with Ryan a little early. We'll talk to him later on. We'll get you caught up in all the news and happenings of the day for the Thundering Herd. It's been a very productive day for several of the, quote, Olympic sports. We'll talk about all of that later on as well. When we continue, Ryan Crisp, my guest, on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks for being a part of today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. It's a genuine privilege every time we get a chance to catch up with Ryan Crisp. Ryan is the Associate Athletics Director for Annual Giving, Ticket Sales, and Fan Engagement. And, of course, it's always fun to talk to Ryan because he knows so much that's happening with the Thundering Herd, and I'm trying to play all the games to get him to reveal something. So, Ryan, I just want to let you know, I downloaded Signal today on my phone. So, feel free to just invite me to the secure group chat now. I promise I won't say a single thing about anything. Nothing.
There we go. It sounds like maybe the herd and also maybe our government might need to invest in something like that to make sure we don't put stuff in the wrong places. So that might be a good thing to have there, Paul.
Yeah, you can find me. I'll send you. You know what? I'll send you the link so you can be on. Yeah, so I can get in on all the secret stuff that you guys are doing. No, I'm sure it's very hard. You gotta keep everything quiet so we can have surprises like the Zach Bryan surprise that finally we're going to have an opportunity to have a full-blown concert, a stadium concert at Joan C. Edwards Stadium. I know the news came out yesterday. I'm sure already you've kind of felt the impact of that big announcement.
Yeah, no, for sure. I said yesterday it was probably one of the busiest days my phone has ever had, just because of the sheer, the announcement itself and how big it is, not only for the athletic department, but for Marshall University and Huntington and really the state of West Virginia as a whole. So yeah, it's been, months and months and months in the works, and, a lot of conversations, a lot of, those meetings that we all love to attend. But, we got to the finish line and got the date, and, we're ready to roll. So couldn't be more thankful to J. Michael Sisko, who is the connection between it all. A local guy that became friends with Zach and is on Zach's team and brought him here for a football game, a homecoming game against App State last year, where really the conversation started. And, here we are, about 4 or 5 months later, and we got a show locked in. And, we're really going to do a lot of good things, for not only the health of the athletic department from a financial standpoint, but also for the city of Huntington and surrounding communities. You looked at hotel prices. Of course, I knew this was coming, so I looked at hotel prices before the announcement and after the announcement, and they changed quite a bit there quickly. And there's really not a whole lot left in the area. So, it was cool to be a part of the process, and it's amazing that we're here. And I, now just counting down the days and until the concert.
This has been something that I think you can attribute a lot of desire by a lot of people for something like this well before you were in a position at Marshall University. This has just been something that fans have wanted. Hey, here's this big football stadium. You could have a concert there. Why don't we have a concert there? Could you talk about some of the hurdles you had to overcome to even get to this point where now you can have an outdoor concert at Joan C. Edwards Stadium?
Yeah, so this was one of Christian's, main missions when he got here, our athletic director. He wanted to host a major concert inside of Joan C. Edwards Stadium. And unfortunately, that's just not as easy as it sounds. A lot of it has to do with, not only convincing an act to come to our area, come to Huntington, perform in our venue, an outdoor venue. There's places all over the world where these artists are able to perform at. And so getting someone that not only could fill the stadium and sell a show out, but also believe in us and believe in what we're doing, took a lot of work. The other side of it is, the operation side of things, right? Like getting the stage on the field, getting the field covered, finding vendors that will come in and do certain things, and having the workforce that they're going to need to unload their 87 semis that they're going to bring in for the show. It takes a lot of people, a lot of work, a lot of time. And we're so thankful to his team to be able to believe in us and believe in this area to take on this show. And so, just a bunch of hurdles, a bunch of, people saying, I don't know if that's going to work. You just got to keep fighting the battle and make them understand that we can do this and there's a way to get it done. And now hopefully that we have a blueprint of how it can work and what it would look like and, what size stage can fit on our field and where it can go and, all those little details that have become stopping points in the past. We've worked through those. And so hopefully now this will be a blueprint for us to be able to do this more often and bring entertainment that you can't really get anywhere else to our city.
Ryan Crisp is with us, the Associate Athletics Director for Annual Giving, Ticket Sales, and Fan Engagement. I wanted to ask you about that infrastructure. As you alluded to, you just can't say, hey, we're going to have a concert, everybody show up, and here it is. How difficult was it to overcome those hurdles to make sure that the infrastructure would be in place and the logistics? You can't just roll up with a stage and put it out on the football field and say, here we go. So if you could drill down just a little bit, I'm just curious, what maybe some of the biggest infrastructure hurdles were. And I know you have probably a layout of where that stage is going to go, and I'm sure that, it's going to look great once we see it in action, but still, it's mind-boggling how big of a production a stadium concert like this is.
Yeah, no, so there's obviously a lot. The biggest probably hurdle from an operations standpoint, from getting everything on the field, is one, we don't have a loading dock directly to our field. So there's no way that a semi-truck can back down and unload on our field. The ramps on the north side of the stadium are too steep and they take a turn. So even like, maybe like an 18-foot box truck would bottom out and you wouldn't be able to do it. And so, like I said, a few months ago, somebody from the company AEG Presents is the company that's putting on this concert. They sent a rep out and he came out and he met with us and we showed him everything. And he looked at it and, kind of went through all the things of what we could do, how we could do it, what we could do, all that kind of stuff. Took it back to his team. A month later, 5 members from his team came out, and they all came out and looked at our venue and went through all the possible solutions. And they've done this all around the world. Specifically with Zach's team, they specialize in Zach Bryan concerts, and so they were able to know what Zach likes, where Zach likes things, exactly how the show should happen, where it should happen, and they were able to visualize everything and how it would work. And so, yes, multiple meetings, multiple times with them actually having a site visit out here. The biggest issue is just the lack of loading docks of how to get stuff onto our field. But they found a solution. They found a way, and I'm excited to see it going to work. I don't know, the exact timeline, but I know they're coming in a few days before the concert to unload everything and get it onto the field, and then get the show ready to go, and then a couple of days afterwards to clean it all up and get out of here. So they're really, really good at what they do. It was impressive to see them go to work. They've done this at a lot of venues, and they say everywhere they go is a unique situation, right? Every venue has some type of structure or issue that they have to figure out a solution for. So they like the challenge, and they made it work, and here we are.
My guest is Ryan Crisp, the Associate Athletics Director for Annual Giving, Ticket Sales, and Fan Engagement. So one more about Zach. Well, actually, a couple more. I think maybe they tie in. Tickets go on sale soon. And now if you're a season ticket holder, if you're part of the Marshall community, you're going to have an earlier go at these tickets. Will there be premium options? I'm curious, press box, the Sky Suites, maybe the Shoey. Is there anything going to be available that you're able to talk about today, or are you looking into that?
Yeah, so the pre-sale does start tomorrow at 10 a.m. That pre-sale will include Marshall staff, faculty, Marshall students, and football season ticket holders. So actually at 6 o'clock this evening, everyone will get an email in that group of the instructions of what to do and all that good stuff. And so that'll be the first time the Marshall family will have the opportunity to purchase tickets is tomorrow at 10 o'clock. As far as the ticket prices and locations and all that stuff goes, like I said, it all is going through the, AXS is the ticketing company that's putting this on. And so I don't have all the information. What I can tell you is obviously there will be seats all around the stadium in the seating bowl. There will be floor seats. There will be seats on the floor, as well as a GA pit area right in front of the stage there. So multiple options, multiple price points, multiple price levels. As far as the Sky Suites and everything goes, we have contacted our Sky Suite holders who lease those Sky Suites from us on a yearly basis through football season, and have given them first right of refusal for the concert, and no one has turned it down. So I don't foresee any Sky Suites coming open because the Sky Suite holders have purchased those for this as well. And so just be on the lookout for different things. Like I said, it is going through the ticketing company. But I do know there is going to be multiple price points, multiple price levels, all around the stadium, as well as on the floor and right in front of the stage in the, what they call the pit, I guess.
Ryan Crisp is with us. He is the jack of all trades at Marshall University, but the official title is Associate Athletics Director for Annual Giving, Ticket Sales, and Fan Engagement. So I know where you'll be right there front row, right, Ryan?
I'm not sure. Me, like a lot of people, probably have a tough decision to make on, if we'll go to Athens, Georgia, or if we'll stay back for the concert. I can tell you that, obviously, when you get an opportunity to host a concert of this magnitude, you make your schedule available. And so we're excited to do it. I'm not sure where I'll be yet, but either way, it was incredible to be a part of the process and kind of to get this thing from the ground up and see it go live and launch these ticket sales tomorrow, and let's sell this thing out in a matter of minutes.
Where do you anticipate the revenue from this event going? Is it going to be general fund? This is going to be football, NIL? What do you envision, or what's the plan?
Yeah, the revenue that we make will go to the athletics department as a whole, and we'll apply it in those areas of need where we see fit best. We've talked about it before, I think, and people have seen the plans for the deck off the Shuey building for football season. Those funds will be allocated for our student athletes for the NIL fund. And so that's kind of where we're projecting for that revenue to come in, is from there. And so this concert's going to go to our overall athletic department budget and help us, hopefully do some cool things in the future, but then also make sure we pay our bills and take care of our student athletes at a high level. So it's a new revenue stream, obviously something that we haven't had before, especially to this magnitude. And so we're excited to have those funds and see what we can do. And hopefully this isn't the last one. Hopefully we can continue to do this year over year, twice a year, whatever it settles down to, and we can continue to grow our revenue streams however possible.
Ryan Crisp is with us, Associate Athletics Director, Annual Giving, Ticket Sales, and Fan Engagement. I don't know if you had a chance to listen a little bit yesterday to either the podcast or the show live, but we had some fun asking fans what they would like to see or who they would like to see as the next event. A few people said AC/DC. I don't know if you know, they're out on tour doing tours right now. I think AC/DC would make perfect sense, Ryan.
I did listen to that segment of the show, actually. I was on my way home, and I listened to it, and, I think AC/DC would be incredible to do in the Zone. When they perform Thunderstruck, it would be incredible, just like Metallica is going to be at Lane Stadium in Virginia Tech this year. When they play in a Sandman, it's going to be unreal. So, we'll do our due diligence and we'll do our work and see what can happen. But at the end of the day, no matter who it is, we aren't we're not stopping at one. We're going to keep going and fighting for more and see what we can do. So we will definitely do our work to host another one in the Joan. Like I said, hopefully once a year, maybe twice a year. You never know. You never know how it's going to come. But regardless, we'll be ready, and we're excited for the opportunity to even be in the conversation.
I'll keep it brief. Just one more on this one, then we'll move on to a couple other things. But have there been conversations a little bit more as far as maybe utilizing the Henderson Center or other on-campus facilities for maybe smaller type concerts? Has those ideas progressed or have bared any fruit right now?
It has. We are open to opening up our venues and however we can make some financial gains. I think the key is always just it comes down to dollars and cents, right? Where does it make sense? What's your cost versus what you can make through ticket sales, through however many you're selling, and how much does it cost to be able to provide the structure and the infrastructure of what somebody would need to host a concert in one of those venues. So, yes, I think we are totally open to the Henderson Center, to Jack Cook Field, to hosting a concert, hosting something, in those venues to help with revenue streams. So that's always on the table, always open. One more thing on the Zach Bryan deal is, this was like I said, J. Michael Sisko, who's the local connection, was the key piece in all of this. I don't know if anyone saw, but on the Instagram post that Zach put out yesterday, he actually tagged Jay not only in the photo but also in the caption, and he was the person that got this done. I mean, Zach is performing concerts at Notre Dame, Michigan, and Marshall, and we are a great program. We are one of the strongest brands in the country, but to be even associated with Notre Dame and Michigan is absolutely unreal. So we are so thankful for him and his team to be able to put their faith in us, and we know that not only Marshall fans, but this area is really going to show out and allow him to put on a fantastic show here in Huntington.
We're speaking with Ryan Crisp. He's the Associate Athletics Director for Annual Giving, Ticket Sales, and Fan Engagement. Now, it's been a busy day for the Thundering Herd. Of course, this morning, a lot of the Thundering Herd football players went out, hit the streets, along with Coach Gibson. I don't know, Mr. Crisp, were you there as well, filling potholes across the city of Huntington? I know that had to be a fun event this morning. And honestly, their work could go on forever if we had the time and the resources just to go out and fill potholes. That would make everyone happy, but the Herd doing its part today.
Yeah, no, it was great. I was out there this morning, and we had 4 different teams that went out to different locations and helped fill potholes. We tried to get out yesterday morning as well, but unfortunately the weather wasn't cooperating. So we went out today, though, went out in force, and it was great. I think early on some of the guys were a little timid, a little scared, but they opened up and they loved the process. And by the end of it, they were like, oh, we got this. We understand what we're doing here. And they were doing all the work and filling the potholes with the shovels and the rakes and the little tamper machine. Toby Payne had he was having fun on that thing. He wasn't giving it up, and he wanted to keep on that thing. So it was awesome. It was great to see Coach Gibson out there, some of our other coaches. The mayor, Patrick Farrell, was there. Christian Spears was out there. But I'll tell you the coolest thing that happened is, as we were headed down the street, the community members came out that lived on that street and thanked the football team for being out there. One lady even said, hey, come over on Sunday. I'm going to make you dinner to the players. So it was cool to see that, to see the community connection, for them to be so thankful for our players being out there helping, improve our street, saving our cars, our rims. And so it was great to see. And like I said, I think the coolest part was just those community members coming out of their house, taking the time, whether they were working from home or, whatever it was, they took the time to pop out of their house and thank the football players and the Huntington City Department for taking care of their road and filling the potholes. So it was a great little deal, and something that we'll always look to be in the community and help. Last year we painted fire hydrants. This year we're filling potholes. We may try to do another one in July as an athletic department staff or help in the community. So anything we can do to help, we're glad to do so. And when it all comes together and you see it in the works, it's really cool.
Ryan Crisp is with us. So we've got the potholes going, and I'm hoping that in the future that can become an annual event. Maybe we can get Brad Smith, once all these wonderful things that are happening with the Innovation District going, maybe we can find an innovative way to pave the potholes year-round. That's my hope, Ryan. But you've got a lot of other things going on. Let's talk about what's coming up this week and next that you're looking forward to.
Yeah, so softball's home this weekend, which is great. They unfortunately had to, cancel their game against Pitt yesterday once again because of the weather. But they're home for 3 games this year, coming off a big sweep against JMU on the road. So back at home, obviously, a couple weeks ago at home, they broke the famous Louisiana streak. They haven't lost a conference series since 2013, I believe it was, right, Paul? So, they're back home and super excited to have them. And then baseball gets back in action next week on Tuesday. They're back at home April 1st, April Fool's Day. They're back at home and then home again the next weekend. So obviously lots going on. Spring game fast approaching, coming up in just a little bit over 3 weeks here, 2 weeks really. So April 12th, spring game, 3 p.m. Lots of alumni coming to town, probably the biggest showing yet for the alumni. This little project that the Quarterback Club and Mark George have put on is about 3 years old, where they invite the alumni back for this weekend. And it's going to be the biggest weekend yet for the alumni. So it's going to be great to see lots of guys back in town. Your first chance to kind of see the new football squad. Coach Gibson has told us that for the first half, we're going to play real football. So you're going to get to see a true glimpse of what this team can do and see some of the playmakers in action, which is going to be great. So can't beat the price point, $5 for tickets. If you want to come out and make a day of it, $20 for a tailgate spot. You can park in the west lot pretty much all day long and have a good old time with your friends and family. So spring game's right around the corner. Another event that we launched that's about 5 weeks away, Bingo at the Ballpark, a big green fundraiser in Jack Cook Field. Obviously, we're going to play some bingo, and you can walk away with some pretty cool prizes like a trip to Georgia or a Carnival cruise, a trip to Caesars, Indiana, southern Indiana, a little weekend getaway there. So many cool prizes you can win, but the main thing, is obviously just the support of our student athletes in the athletic department. It is a fundraising event. John Gordon, I don't know if anyone has had a chance to hear John Gordon speak, but he's a best-selling New York Times author, as well as a motivational speaker that focuses on athletic teams, and he is absolutely unreal. And once again, we are so fortunate to be able to have him come and speak at this event. So we are super excited for John Gordon, super excited to play some bingo, but most importantly, this just the camaraderie and the friendship that we have with our fellow Herd fans and supporters. It's going to be a great time, a great event, a brand new event, and so it's going to be great. So bingo at the ballpark, all information on herdzone.com for that, all the information on herdzone.com for the spring game, as well as your baseball and softball schedules and updates and all that good stuff. So like I said, Paul, so many things going on. We're kind of moving into a new age of the athletic department and finding new revenue streams and making things happen here. So a lot of the stuff we're talking about is new, which is probably the best part, right? It's new. And so we're looking to push us forward, push the brand forward, and provide our fans with experiences that maybe they haven't gotten a chance to have yet. So we're excited for the future and excited for what's to come over the next couple months.
Man, I think you covered it all. I don't think there's anything we didn't touch on. If we missed something, let me know, because I think we got it all.
We got it all.
Ryan Crisp, my guest, the Associate Athletics Director for Annual Giving, Ticket Sales, and Fan Engagement. Also, everyone's best friend until Zach Bryan gets here. Everyone's best friend is Ryan Crisp. Man, you're going to be getting so many requests for that concert. Hey, Ryan, can you hook me up with a couple of tickets? You know what he's going to do? He's going to do the same thing he does to me. He's going to send me the link to where I can sign up online and put my credit card in, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Have a good rest of your week, man, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, Paul, I appreciate it. Go ahead.
Zach Bryan, everyone, is going to be in concert, and if you want to get your tickets, head over to herdzone.com for all the details. And Ryan Crisp will make sure that you have that direct link. If you hit him up on his phone, he will make sure that you have that link like everyone else. So good luck in getting your tickets. We will come back and we will get your text. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We continue on with this Wednesday edition of The Drive. Paul Swann, your host. Thanks for tuning in on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We're going to keep our text line open this hour. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. We've got a couple of things I want to go over. Busy day for the Thundering Herd as far as the honors and everything coming in. First of all, swimming as a program has always been a signature program at Marshall University. I think Swim and Dive has been one of those programs that once it came back, you had to be happy because it was one of those signature programs years ago. And so just to see the progress that team and that program has made. And today, Marshall University freshman swimmer Ksenia Luniishina named the 2024-25 Sunbelt Conference Freshman and Outstanding Swimmer of the Year. Madeline Hart also picked up the Elite Award as the top performer. So she's the Elite Award winner. Marshall picked up a lot of first-team nods. We've got the story up now over at WRVC.com. You can check that out and find out more about what's happening with the Herd. And don't forget, bookmark that. You can visit it every day, WRVC.com. You can also listen to the podcast. You can stream the radio station, including the show live. And softball's been on a tear as of late as well. And so we found out today that Marshall ranked number 17th in the D1 softball mid-major rankings for Week 7. The rankings come out every Wednesday. It's similar to the top 25 if you're not that familiar with it. Every team outside of the autonomy leagues eligible for the ranking. Marshall's won 6 games now in a row, 13 of the last 15. And Chandler Hoskins, 7th ranked mid-major freshman in Softball America's mid-season freshman rankings. So she picked up that honor. And, of course, yesterday, Riley Lucas picked up the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week award. So the Thundering Herd right now, we're in league play, and Marshall's on top of the Sun Belt Conference standings. Action on Friday at Dot Hicks Field. Marshall takes on Texas State. This should be a good one. Texas State is 20-8, 4-2 in league play, whereas Marshall's 19-13, 5-1 in league play. So this will mean a lot. Team that can win the series is going to have an edge in the standings. But I think Marshall had a really tough schedule to get itself ready for league play. If you missed our conversation yesterday with Riley Lucas, go back and catch that. It's available on our podcast. You can also find that, again, at our website, wrvc.com. We went into what that schedule was like for her. She wanted to play the best teams possible, and I think that Marshall has scheduled well. A tough, challenging schedule. Marshall was competitive in that schedule, and now I think we're seeing it pay off in league play. We'll get more of your texts coming up. Our text line, again, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. We do that every day. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Final few minutes of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for making us a part of your drive home, or if you're listening wherever you're at on our podcast, available online, wrvc.com, also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, just wherever you get your podcast is where the show is available. We're not going to be here tomorrow. For those of you that are listening on the podcast, we're going to have 1 day gap because we've got baseball locally on the air. Pittsburgh Pirates in action, opening day. Big deal around here. And so we won't be on the air tomorrow. We have got the baseball game starting. It's going to be about a 4:10, depending on when all the ceremony and pomp and circumstance is over, about a 4:10 first pitch. We're going to air at 3:45, so that's when we begin our coverage. And then right after that, we're going to go into March Madness and the NCAA tournament. So we won't be here tomorrow for the show, but we've got a lot going on, so we hope that you can join us tomorrow. And then I'll be back with you on Friday as we wrap the week up. But don't forget, you can still catch me. It doesn't matter where you're at. I'm there. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Paul Swann. Also, you can find me on Threads. You can find me on Blue Sky. Those are all new networks, and I am there as well. You don't know how to get to me on those networks? Well, most of you have X, Twitter, so you can head over there right now, find me there, and then I have a link to take you to all of those various social media sites that I'm on. Also, that information, I believe, is on the podcast as well for those of you that download it, so you should be able to find that information there in the description. And we do appreciate everyone who downloads the show, and we appreciate everyone who listens. Doesn't matter if you're listening live or if you're listening later on. We do appreciate it. So looking forward to tomorrow. We're going to kick back. We got baseball action. It all begins. Pirates in action, Guardians in action, Reds are in action. We'll have the Pirates game tomorrow and all season long right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So it's going to be a busy time around here. And then, of course, we've got Sweet 16 action coming up tonight. That's going to be on our sister station, Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. Ashland taking on Callaway County. And then Friday, it's going to be Kentucky and Tennessee. That's going to be on the air as well. You can start on our sister station, 92.7 and 98.5 The Planet, or catch Sports 93.3 and 1340. And then we'll jump in and we'll catch the round the nation coverage on Westwood One after that. So if you're looking for just a way to follow all the action, keep it locked. Tomorrow we'll go on the air immediately following the Pirates game. And of course, if you're a UK fan, I think you know where to go by now. But if you don't, 92.7 and 98.5 The Planet, or Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. So you're going to be covered no matter where you're at with all of the crazy basketball coverage that March brings us. I think that's it. We're out of time. Thanks for everyone joining us today. I want to thank Ryan Crisp. He spent a lot of time with us today, so I appreciate him. Ryan has one of the best jobs at Marshall University. He is the Associate Athletics Director for annual giving, ticket sales, and fan engagement. That means he gets to interact with you. So one of the best jobs in the country, getting a chance to talk to Herd fans, find out what they like, what they don't like, what they'd like to see. So you can find him on X as well. And if you go to the Herd Zone website, his phone number is right there. You guys can call him anytime if you've got any ideas or suggestions or just comments or feedback you want to leave him. He's always been receptive to everything that fans have got to say. That's going to do it for this edition. I'll be back with you on Friday here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Until then, enjoy opening day tomorrow.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.